opportunity very often to bring players like this to a new team, and adding DeMarcus and Omri, we're really excited, and we're looking forward to the potential that could come for this organization. And so, without further ado, I want to introduce you guys to DeMarcus Cousin, Omri Caspi. We're free for questions.
DeMarcus, what's been your emotions like just the last couple of days, and is it still going to take some time for the dust to settle?
It's been an emotional roller coaster. Everything happened so quickly, very unexpected. But I'm a firm believer in that everything happens for a reason. I'm excited for this opportunity. I'm looking forward to it. I plan on embracing my teammates, this team, this organization, this city. This is home for me now, and I'm extremely excited. So I'm ready to get to work.
What was your Sunday like? Were you surprised by the news?
Sunday was a wild day. Just a lot of mixed emotions. Like I said, it was very unexpected. I sat in the airport for a minute and just mind was wandering, racing. Didn't really know what to think, but I've tried to understand the situation, and basically what I came to is this is a business. So I'm not sour. I'm not mad. I don't have any ill feelings. This is a business, and these type of things happen. So I'm comfortable with it. I'm in a good place, and like I said, I'm ready to get to work.
When you look at the landscape of the league and all-star players, star players like yourself coming together to play with one another, what is it like to now join Anthony and here in New Orleans?
I think it's a great opportunity. I think we can both learn from one another. I think our games complement one another, and being together, I think it's going to make both of our jobs easier. So I'm excited for the opportunity. I think we can wreak havoc on this league. Will it happen overnight? Probably not, but the potential is scary. So like I said, I'm excited for this opportunity.
You mentioned the emotions. When did the emotions go from maybe disappointment or to being excited about that?
Well, it was disappointment right away, honestly. But I talked to my agents after it happened, and it was just a lot of confusion. But my agent told me to get on the phone with Dale and just talk. And he wanted me to wait a couple of days, but I was like, no, let's talk right now. So as I'm sitting in the airport, we hop on the phone, and being the cool guy that he is, he just kind of he kind of put me at ease, and everything he was saying, it made sense. And right away I got excited. And I felt a little bit better about the situation. So I'm good.
Have you talked to anybody from the Kings? If Vlade called you, and do you need to have that conversation?
I haven't talked to anybody, and Vlade, he tried to call after everything was done, but it's done. So.
Hey, Del, could you maybe talk about the genesis of this? Did it happen quickly? Was it a process that took weeks, days? Just how did it all come together? And were you surprised that it did come together?
We had talked before, and numerous times we had communications, and not to go into all the details, things didn't really get going until the last couple of days. But then, during the game and after the games, when everything became finalized, and it was funny because I was actually walking down the street. It was when I was walking down the street. I think it was Friday or Thursday night, and all of a sudden he's walking down the street, and I happened to see him, and it was just a pure coincidence, and that really revved me up even more after talking to him, just for like a quick hello, how you doing? I didn't say anything about the trade or anything, but that even revs up even more to pursue the conversations.
Just for clarification, there's the video going around at the All-Star press conference afterwards. The guy comes in whispering in your ear. Was that when you found out about the trade, or was it afterwards?
He let me know that it was like serious talks. So yeah, Basically, yes.
You knew before then.
I knew about the discussions, but I mean, honestly, I've heard this for the past 3-4 years. Every year I'm getting traded, so I'm just like, oh, whatever. But when Chris Clark let me know, I'm like, oh, this is serious. So, yeah.
How do you put this all together?
How do I put it all together?
As far as making it work with these guys?
You got two great players, and we also have Omri who's he's gonna help our team tremendously. Also, a great shooter. So it's just a matter of getting it all, putting it all together, and obviously the chemistry thing. I don't see that's going to be a problem at all. And as DeMarcus says, I think the games are very complementary of each other, and it gives us an opportunity. Also, one of the areas that we've struggled in is obviously the rebounding part of it, and especially giving up offensive rebounds. So I think obviously with his size and with Omri's size, we can put a really big team out on the floor. So it's just a matter of, like I said, it's not going to happen overnight, but I'm extremely, extremely excited about the possibilities.
We need to temper expectations. I mean, you look at historically when players of this caliber have been traded or go to other teams, it takes a little time, and not having training camp or anything. Is it going to be easy to?
It does take time. We're going to try to make it work quickly. That may not be the case, but we don't have a whole lot of margin of error right now. So this is something. We have 25 games left, and our goal obviously has been all along to get into the playoffs. So we have to try to get it to work. I know that these guys. One thing about it is they're friends. They've been friends a long time, so that makes the adjustment a little bit easier. I think both of them are very giving. I don't think there's going to be any head bumping as far as whose team this is or any of those situations like that. So I just think it's just a matter of getting on the court and making the chemistry work on the court.
And Coach, specifically the fit between Boogie and AD, what do you think about that and how they kind of complement each other's games?
Well, I think both of them are capable of being inside players. Obviously, both of them are capable of on the outside, being outside players. DeMarcus is shooting 36% from three, so that's a heck of a percentage for a guy, He wanted me to throw that out, but I just see those guys as being, both of them can play inside, both of them can play outside. Very complimentary. Obviously, I think that DeMarcus puts us in a situation where when you go to him early, all of a sudden you're shooting bonus free throws much earlier in the period than you normally would. So he allows us an opportunity to. I think you'll see our free throw shooting go up quite a bit because of him. But I just think it's we just got to get out. We're going to have a first practice today. There's a lot of very similar things that they ran at Sacramento that will put him in those situations, and we'll see what happens.
Coach, signing long-term came up amid all this on Sunday. Has anything changed from your point of view since this all happened?
What's your question?
The prospect of signing long-term came up. Is that anything that's changed since?
With here?
Yeah, signing an extension.
I'm going to make the best of the opportunity. That's not a question I can answer right away, obviously, but I'm all in. Make the best of this opportunity, and we'll see what the future holds.
Hey, Omri, since we haven't heard from you, just quickly.
That was easy so far.
About, you were here for maybe a few hours once before, about being back with Coach Gentry.
Hey, I'm super excited. Sacramento been home for me and DeMarcus for a while, and we're attached to the city. I think fans can appreciate that, and now we're so excited for that new opportunity. Obviously, playing under Coach Gentry and the situation, playing with DeMarcus and AD couldn't be even better for my game, and everything happens for a reason, like DeMarcus said. At the time it wasn't the right time, and I couldn't be more excited to be here now and to do whatever it takes to win.
Omri, a lot of talk around DeMarcus is kind of the emotions he shows on the court with his teammates and some of the opponents. How would you describe him as a teammate?
Oh, he's my brother, and We've been through a lot in our young careers, and I couldn't be more excited for him to have this opportunity. I never really thought that something like that can really happen in real life. Him and AD together can really change the face of the NBA. So I'm excited for all of us, and looking forward to play together on the court.
Del, how did you get this done, and did you even enjoy the All-Star game at all? I mean, did you see it? Were you even in the building?
No, I was in the building, and I got to thank the Kings. Talking to those guys, and we were able to get it done. But we just felt like the opportunity of bringing DeMarcus here to play with Anthony and with Drew Holiday. We just felt like that those three guys, putting them together, it could be, it's exciting just to think about the possibilities. And I think Drew is the guy the point guard for us to run the team, and we're looking forward to seeing those guys out there together and gelling. And obviously, we know it's going to take some time, but we are going to try to expedite the process and integrating these guys with the other teammates. Solomon's been playing well lately, and E'Twaun Moore, and so I said we understand that we have some work in front of us. But we're going to embrace the challenge.
When they said yes, did you how soon can we get this done? What were your emotions?
It was a fist pump. it was a fist pump, but it was an excitement. But we worked on it. Like I said, I thank those guys for the time that they put into it, and the professionalism, and I'm just excited.
As a guy that you've been working so long to kind of get those additional players around AD to kind of get the right fit around him, how does making this trade kind of go for just for you as a guy that's been working so hard to make that happen, just to finally get a guy like Boogie next to AD?
I saw them play together in some USA basketball practices, and with USA basketball, and I always had in the back of my mind, man, these guys would be great playing together in New Orleans, and just all the work. I want to also thank the guys on our staff in the front office for all the time and effort they put into this. It was definitely a team and organizational effort, and it was a lot of work. But obviously, we're looking forward to it.
Hey, DeMarcus, 2 questions here. Have you gotten out and about? Have people seen you and been yelling your name, or have you seen anybody in New Orleans? Have the fans reacted to you yet?
I haven't had a chance to, honestly. I got in yesterday, and it was straight to business. So I plan on doing that as, the first chance I get. But as of right now, no.
And second question here. The struggles in Sacramento are well documented. Are you excited to have the opportunity to get a fresh start and maybe say, those struggles weren't me? Some people have said, was it him or was it the team? Do you know what I'm saying? Maybe you have a fresh start here to kind of show.
Honestly, that's not my concern. My concern is coming in, help building a winning culture. Myself, AD, Drew, help trying to build a winning culture. My mind is still on making the playoffs with whatever situation I ended up in. So that's it. I'm here to win, and that's it. I don't care about the rest of it.
What hurt the most about the trade?
Probably the way it was done. The dishonesty that came with it, but I'm okay with it. So.
Talk about your decision to choose the jersey number that you've chosen here.
New life.
You and Anthony Davis have two very different personalities, but how do you think those two complement one another? And maybe if you guys can speak to this.
Just that. Just because we're opposites. You got a little fire, you got a little ice. So.
Was that part of what?
I couldn't have said it better.
What did it mean to have them fly out to come pick you up?
It was great. Them doing that made the situation a lot easier, a lot more comfortable. We talked most of the flight, and it was. I wouldn't say it was any awkwardness. It was, like homies, like hanging out. Like I said, they made the situation easier and more comfortable, and I'm good.
In those other conversations with AD, what are they doing?
AD hit me right away. Actually, I text him first. So it's crazy how it all happened. How long
we played you guys in Sacramento. How long was that before the break?
I think it was Sunday. We played him Sunday. So,
So, you know, me and him had a little chat then, and I was kind of sorry about that. I was in his ear. I'm like, come on over the side. And he's giving me that, like, nah, you need to come to New Orleans. We're going to talk into something. So it's just funny. And then, you know, he brought up the story where we met walking down the street. But AD sent me a text like, yo, I really want you to come to New Orleans. And I kind of ignored him because I didn't know how to answer it. Then I run into Dale, and it's just like, what the hell is going on? And then Sunday night, I'm a Pelican, so I've gotten all the signs. I guess I wasn't, you know, paying attention, but all the signs were there. You know, it happened. So.